Hey everybody. Today's topic I want to speak about is past lives and how they affect who we are today, and also how to look into them by yourself. A lot of factors play out throughout our lives that really mold and shape into who we are when we grow up. Some of the stuff on the surface that we all know and we're aware of are, like, for example, our upbringing, right? Our family, our parents, our siblings, mother, father, brothers, sisters, and how close, what kind of relationship we had with them, what we took from them, and also the culture and the nationality that you were born into. That all comes into play as far as who you become as a person when you grow up. These are all stuff on the surface, but one thing I've learned when I woke up is I've noticed for myself, and using myself as an example here, that I've always liked or had interest in certain things, be it food, music, cultures, different countries. Like, I've just always had certain interests in these things, and nobody's ever came and told me about them and said, "Hey, Frank, did you know about this, or this?" I saw it and I heard it one day, and I'm just like, wow, I really like this or that or whatever. And as I woke up and as I started looking into my own past lives, I realized these things that I've had interest in, well, actually, I've had strong lives. I've had strong past lives in those, in that culture, in that environment, doing that, thing that I'm interested in today. And I feel like when we all wake up and we all start discovering our past lives, it kind of builds a more complete picture of who we are. There's plenty of things, like I said, that affect who we become, and also including who we are as spirit, our frequencies as spirit. That's also one big factor, but I'm just talking strictly about past lives. And I just want to give you an example of my personal experience in my previous lives. For example, a good majority of my past lives have been in Native, as a Native American in America, going back a long time, thousands of years. My energy just feels at home here, in the United States, and also in North America, basically, Canada, United States. I am Chinese American in this life, but I was born in California, in America. My mother came over here to America in the 80s, and she ended up having me a few years later. So I guess that makes me, like, first or second generation Chinese. I'm not too sure. But my point is, I actually went back to China and lived there for about 2 to 2.5 years when I was younger, as a child. And I was going to school over there, and I did not feel at home. I mean, sure, I spoke the language, I spoke Mandarin, everything, but I just didn't feel at home. Like, I didn't feel at home, and I didn't know what it was. When I came back here after those 2 to 2.5 years, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, oh, I'm home, I've had many lives in 3 parts of the world, 3 specific parts: North America, Asia, including Russia, and Europe. North America would be the most, and then in Asia, I've had many lives in China, Japan, Russia. I guess we consider Russia part of Asia. I don't know, but I've had many lives in these specific countries, and a lot of them are not that good, especially the ones in China. I mean, I've got nothing against any culture, any people, but it's just a lot of those lives back home. back in China, they were not that great. And I've had good lives. You know, I'm not saying they were all bad. I've had lives where I was like a prince. I've had lives where I was doing big stuff. But for the most part, it was very hard. It was hard conditions, and it didn't have a good life. And I felt that. When I was there, and I feel it now still. Many of my lives here in America as Native American, going back thousands of years, it was all abuse, but they weren't that bad. It was really much more of relaxed lives I've had, being in the tribe or something. And I'll tell you guys more specifically about certain lives I've had with interesting, details. I've had many lives in Russia. It was just cold as hell. It wasn't that great. I've had many lives in different countries in Europe. Italy, Norway, France. These three seem to be the more predominant areas that I've had lives in Europe. Like in other Scandinavian countries as well. I think Norway is my number one, and then Finland too. And as far as Italy goes, I've had many lives in not only Italy but also the Mediterranean and France. But I felt at home here, and I've noticed throughout my life that stuff like I've liked certain things, like certain cultures. I love Italy. I don't know why. Nobody ever told me about Italy. I just found out about it when I was a very young age, and I'm just like, wow, that's beautiful. There was something about it that I was so content with, and so like, that's cool. My very last life, my very last life I had before this one, and I'm gonna get pretty detailed here. My very last life I had before this one, I was born, I lived in the Midwest here in America, in a Caucasian body, white body. I was getting like Nebraska, it was like somewhere like where Nebraska is, the state of Nebraska. I lived out on a farm. It was an easy life. I was born somewhere around 1940 or something like that. And for the most part, it was an easy life. We had a ranch, had a family. We had animals. It was beautiful. We had horses, and it was a ranch. It was beautiful. It was easygoing. Nothing too harsh, or it wasn't like the hustle bustle of a city. It was very relaxed countryside living in the Midwest in America. And I died young that life. I died very young. I was probably 30 or something. What happened was, and I saw this. What happened was, one day, a guy came along, and he was kind of an asshole. He wanted money from me or something. He was giving us a hard time, and he had a gun. I had a gun. I approached him. We started arguing. I was trying to just get out the way. He wouldn't leave. He was asking for money. He just wanted something, and it got to a heated, escalated situation. He pulled the gun on me. I pulled the gun on him. Boom, he shot me first. I dropped to the ground. I died right there. When I was looking into that, I was just relaxing one day, and I looked into that with my pineal. All I saw was an image of two people standing, looking at each other, with guns pointed at each other, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is this? And then next thing I saw was just one person right in front of me pointing a gun right at me. And then I saw somebody drop to the ground. That was me. I saw how I died that life, and it was kind of traumatizing at first. It was like, wow, really? That's how I went out, It was a surprise. And when you look into your past lives, you can look at how you passed away, how you died, but it's like, I'm just be warned that many of us have had many, many, many lives, millions, billions, trillions, and I can guarantee you that you're not gonna, in certain lives you might not have died in the most peaceful way. So I saw that, and it blew my mind. And you know, it answered a question. It answered. I had a phobia for a long time, especially when I was younger. I had a phobia of guns, a fear of it. Now I don't. You know, now I have my own guns. I go shooting a lot. You know, but I don't anymore. But I remember when I was a kid, I had a phobia, and I just, whenever I saw like a handgun or something, I would just, I don't know, get scared, get nervous. I would get nervous, like a lot of nervous, a lot of anxiety, and sometimes even get scared. And I did not know where that came from until I found out what happened in my last life. That's how I died. I was shot in the face, shot in the head, and just died like that in my last life. And that's where that phobia came from. So once I found out, I was able to heal that trauma, which was really helpful, because now today I'm not, I don't have that phobia anymore. That was when I was a kid. Today I go out shooting every now and then for fun. Stuff like that, you're gonna find out, you're gonna pick up as you look into your lives. I had a life. I had many lives where I was doing like big stuff in the public eye. I've had many lives where I was doing spiritual stuff. That's why this whole metaphysical thing, waking up, helping people, doing these videos, it just comes natural to me. Because I've done it before in many lives, and doing it today is no different. Just, different circumstances, but I'm still helping people. I had many lives in Japan, doing like spiritual stuff. I've had many lives as a shaman, off planet, here and off planet. Reptilian shaman, countless of times. I don't know how many exactly, but a lot. Some of my more recent lives. My very last one was in Nebraska, in a Caucasian body in America, and actually the life before that was also in America. I was in an African American body. I was black, and then I was in Chicago. I was like a 1920s jazz singer. It was cool. That was a good life. It was fun. It was cool. I had a lot of friends. It was a good time, and I still like jazz today. Like I listen to it, and I start getting in the groove, and I love it. That was a good life. Back in the 1700s, when America was just being formed, I had a life where I was walking around with George Washington and Ben Franklin and all of them, and a lot of people today that I'm working with now in the metaphysical world. We were all kind of around back then. It's kind of funny actually. We were all around back in that era, that time, prior to 1776. So I remember, like, when I was a kid too, I would listen to something like the national anthem here in America, and I'd kind of get teary-eyed. It was really emotional for me listening to that. I didn't know why. I remember the first time I did, it was just like, wow. Sure, the chorus, the song, it's meant to, be beautiful, whatever, to inspire you. But there was something more to it that I couldn't figure out. Why does this song hit me so hard? And when I found out I was alive when this country was being formed, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I in that life, I was kind of like a businessman. I was managing a stables, like a hotel and a stable. People come in, bring their horses, park their horses there, and then they go up into the hotel, for the night. That's what I was doing. I managed it, and people like Ben Franklin and George Washington, they'd come by often just to stay temporarily and go. It was interesting. Many lives I've had as Native American. So that particular energy kind of really vibrates well with me. I remember I was driving through Arizona and New Mexico one time. I went to the Four Corners of Arizona. You know, like if you don't know where the Four Corners is in America, it's basically where the four states, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Arizona. It's where they meet in the corner, and you can drive. You can go to this area. It's like a really touristy area. You go there. You can take photos, but it's all owned by Native American. It's all native land out there. So I went there, and when you go there, you go to the very spot where all the states meet, and then around the Four Corners, right there in the same vicinity, is where a lot of Native Americans have little pop-up shops, little stands where they sell their homemade jewelry, their handmade stuff, which is really cool. So I went there a few years ago, just on vacation, and I was walking around checking out these shops, and I stopped by a shop, and there was an old native, I think she was Navajo or something, woman. She just kind of stared at me, and didn't say a word. And when I finally looked up to look in her face, she looked at me and she said, "You native?" And I looked at her and I smiled and I said, "No, but in a past life I was." And it was funny because she picked that up. She picked that off from me, that energy that carries through me. Even when I'm in that area of Arizona, I feel it. It feels different when I'm going through there. It feels different. And I feel the native energy through my past lives just flowing through me, and I just feel like a different person when I go there. It's quite interesting. So now I want to just go over a quick method of how you guys can relax and flow into some of your past lives. It's very simple. Basically, you just want to relax, kind of get in a meditative, relaxed state of mind, like I was telling you guys about in one of my first videos that I did on relaxing. And you want to just relax. Let your conscious mind go, right? And whatever energy core orientation you are the strongest, be it your solar plexus, your heart, or your pineal, that will go forward and that will help you see into your past life. So don't worry about trying to use your pineal or trying to use your scanner. Just basically relax. And once you're relaxed, just ask the field, say, "Hey, take me to a past life. You can be specific. You can say, "Take me to my very last life I had here on this planet, and show me my bedroom, show me my living room, show me my house, show me my family, or show me how I died," if that's what you want to see. But just be warned, it's not always going to be pretty. But just relax and just make that intention in your head and just see your energy and just let it go. Release it and ask the field just to take you there. The field will take you there. Once you're relaxed, you're on the same frequency as the field. Then you can just pull that information in. You don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to use my pineal? Am I going to use my scanner? Am I going to whatever? It doesn't matter, because you will get that image or you'll get that feeling. And then once you get there, then you can start using all your energy centers. See it, feel it, and know it. Right? See it with your pineal or your scanner. Whatever is strongest for you will come naturally. Feel it with your heart. Okay? Feel if for example, if you're asking to see your bedroom, put energy out. Feel it. Like okay, is my bedroom big? Is it small? Are there people in there? Am I by myself? Is there a window over there? And your gut intuition will give you a yes or no answer. So use all these, and just give it a feel. Like, for example, I was looking into my past life, one of my past lives off planet, and I was in an amphibious body, humanoid shark, pretty much. It was wild. My head was the shape of a shark, but standing up, 2 arms, 2 legs. I was like, whoa, this is weird. And then I got a picture in my living room when I did what I just told you guys to do. When I did that, I got a picture in my living room, And I saw these two big windows, and I'm like, okay. So I sent my heart energy out. I was feeling it. Like, I was feeling, what are these for? You know, well, it was an underground home. It was underwater, and we were amphibious beings. And these windows were like display windows, but also they were super thick, made out of something I don't even know. You could see through it like glass, but it wasn't glass like we know it. And it was also thick to not, so the water pressure wouldn't cave the house in, you know. And as I'm looking at that, I was feeling around the living room, and I felt other people in that image, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So then I feel into these people, and I got, oh, they're my family. I'm in a room with my family, mother, father, siblings, etc. So try that. You may not get an image the first time, but if you keep doing it, the key is to relax, because once you're relaxed, you're on the same frequency as the field, and the field has all that information. What they call the Akashic Records is just a field floating around, and to access it, you have to relax. Once you relax, you're on the same frequency, and then you make the intention in your head to go see something, be anything. And in this case, we're talking about past lives. Make that intention and go. And you will get the appropriate image for what you want, what you need to see. And if you want to be specific, make that request, make that intention. Just say, hey, show me this living room, show me how I died. And you will see it. You just have to relax and give it a few times. So I hope that helps. For me, learning about my past lives really helped me discover me as a person, who I am. You know, it wasn't just like seeing a couple, but I had to see a lot, and then I could build the complete picture for myself, and it really helped me understand who I am. And it's also fun. It's fun as hell, you know, to know, hey, I've had a past life, you know, here doing this, doing that with this person. I've had many lives as like a spiritual leader or whatever, or doing metaphysical stuff. So like I said, this stuff comes natural to me, and I knew from a young age I was here for something like this, something bigger. You know, it's like I said in my first introduction video, I knew I was here for something other than the mundane life of going to school, going to university, getting a job, blah 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 blah. You know, that's to me, that's just so mundane and just so dull. It's like, blah. I knew I was here to make some change happen and to help some people out, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working towards. That's what I'm striving towards, and that's that's where all my passion, you know, goes towards, and my energy. So I recommend you guys, when next time you relax or you meditate or whatever, just give it a shot and see what you get. You might be surprised, and it's going to help you figure yourself out even more. I know many of you probably already know your past lives, but you know, we've had millions, billions, trillions. So try to be creative. Try to switch it up. Go find a past life you had on a specific planet that you're interested in. You know, the Pleiades, for example. We've all had like reptilian lives. Easy. I mean, gosh, we've all had them. We've all had them, and so try and find a life, or try and find a life you've had with some of your friends or family members. Typically, that happens a lot, where people you've had lives with in the past, you reconnect with, especially now, today. So get creative with it and have fun with it, and it'll help you understand, give you a more complete picture. Anyway, thanks everybody.